Thanks for staying with us. It's now time to turn our attention to something else in terms of the discussions we have for you. And we'll be reviewing the various policies of the Buhari administration this year and how that has affected Nigerians as a whole. Basically, it's a review of the Buhari administration in the year 2022. We still have with us the political technocrat himself, Dr. Kayode. Thanks for staying with us.
Yeah, thanks for still having me, Samson. But will I be allowed to mention Buhari's name?
Why not? Why not? It's a free world.
You're scared to mention your president.
I'm scared. Though. I'm scared.
Well,
because if we are reviewing his activities for the period 2022.
Yes.
For me, maybe I will give him 10% too. 10% because
no, it's your opinion.
10% because of
infrastructure.
No. Review of this electoral act.
Okay.
Review of electoral act.
Let's start with January. We'll just pick it up like that gradually. From the January this year, we're in December, so we can say literally all through the year, fuel scarcity was an issue.
And it's still
on now. That happened in January. We also had grid collapses, national grid collapses. So let's pick it up from the fuel issue. How well do you think they've handled it all through the course of the year?
Now, you see, it sounds appalling to me because while this administration was in opposition, there was a time that there was a fuel scarcity towards the end, twilight of Goodluck Jonathan's administration. And we could all see the way people were mobilized against the government.
Including President Muhammadu Buhari.
That I'm saying.
He wasn't a president then.
Yes. That's why I said when this administration was in opposition, they mobilized everybody to go against the government. And they were telling Nigerians, look, subsidy
is a scam.
Scam.
Now it's 2011.
And that if they are being voted in, fuel will be selling not higher, and not higher, but can be lesser than 50 naira. They even thought about exchange rates. All right? But unfortunately, when they were being voted in, they first of all reduced the price from, I think, 80 naira or so to 70 naira or 75 naira. And within a month, the thing now jumped to 140 naira. And it has always been like that. Talking about subsidy, talking about this. Remember, the custom chief along the line mentioned people. How these fuel are being smuggled out or whatever. It was in the dailies there.
Yes.
And then when he was also talking about the scam, he was also talking about the scam in the oil and gas industry. The chief of naval staff, the same thing. Do you get? So what I'm saying in essence is this. Despite the promises of General Muhammadu Buhari as regards controlling and then bringing democracy, dividend of democracy to people through reductions in pump prices and all that, it is the reverse that we are seeing. Look at the national grid that you also mentioned, collapsing of national grid. I said it here that our national leaders grid, GREED now. And when I say national leaders, everybody encompassing will never allow a national grid, that is GRID, to work.
But what do you think were the issues in terms of the grid collapse, really? Because there were no warnings released by the authorities. all of a sudden there's just that shutdown, and it probably happens for hours before it comes back, or even a day before it gets back, and what we just hear is, the national grid collapsed. What do you think are the reasons behind the incessant grid collapses we had this year?
Have you ever seen the national grid before? I'm asking you.
No.
Including you, including me, except those ones that we just see fly. Abi, that flies in our forest or on the highway and all that. Have you ever seen any one of them, the one that are visible to us, collapsing, maybe falling down? Because what is the meaning of collapse? That big iron pole that carries live wire, here.
Basically, electric.
They always call a pipeline. I mean, yes, is it pipeline? Power line. They always call power line. There is nobody that had ever seen those things falling down before.
The transmission shutting down.
Now, the issue is this. The issue is this. When it comes to power in this country, we are all aware how much money have been sunk into it. While we are also aware so much fraud that have been claimed happened within that sector. You can remember during Obasanjo's regime.
About 15 trillion naira spent.
It's still being spoken about it today. You can also remember during Goodluck Jonathan's regime, the same thing. This one too, the same thing. So these are just lies. They will give you stories that they know ordinary citizen will not be able to substantiate.
So you think the privatization hasn't changed anything in that sector?
What has it done? What has it changed? The disco. The disco immediately they came in. Were you not aware how much money was given to them? Over 300 billion naira or whatever. When they were saying they cannot do this, they cannot that, they were giving a lot of money. They were asked not to increase their charges. Or recent now, just last week, I found out that they have increased it again. Then the fact that National Assembly said no, they increased it that time. Now they have increased it. When they started, how much units will you get? 1,000 naira. Almost 45 units with 1,000 naira. But go and check it out today. About between 15 and 16 units. Well, to understand the level of increment.
Apparently, Dr. D, you do not rate the Buhari administration well in terms of power. And of course, you've talked about oil and gas too. You do not rank them.
Even aviation, zero.
Well, yeah, we're coming to all of that. We're going to pick it sector by sector. But the civil liberty organizations have described the President Muhammadu Buhari's administration as the worst in the democratic history of Nigeria. Do you agree to that submission?
It's just because I want to be economical with weights. That's why I did not say that. I will have said it. But yes. But I just want to be economical. Because at least in one area, I give him kudos in one area, which is reform in our electoral laws. That we now make our vote to count.
So isn't that enough to at least give them some credit?
And that's why I said...
And so some people would also give them credits in the area of infrastructure. For instance, look at the opening of the second Niger Bridge, which was recently opened. A lot of people would give them kudos in that regard.
Second Niger Bridge out of how many? We're talking about 20 facilities. You are able to do one. Is that a pass mark?
Okay.
So you're not rating them high also in infrastructure?
No. I've not seen this administration performing in the area of infrastructure. Even the one they have done, we got to also assess it through the cost, the financial burden on our economy. The cost they are putting to it, is it right when compared to what is being done elsewhere with the same factors, variables being considered? These are issues. I was discussing that blue line.
Even in the real.
I was discussing even the blue line of Sanwo-Olu with somebody on my Facebook page yesterday by one of my very good aburo. Don't let me mention his name because he's also in the system. He said, yes, but I'm aware that there is let me use another word, I mean, to describe what he said. There is a gap truth gap, or whichever way you want to put it. Okay. Do you understand? I can't twist my tongue. It's you that like to still talk. I'm an Ekiti man. You understand? He said, but let us give them kudos for giving us. I said, yes, we need that infrastructure, but that does not mean that they should not use such infrastructure to steal us blindly.
Well, some people would, agree with you on that, because a lot of people have said that looking at the past administrations we've had, when it comes to infrastructure, this administration has really done well. Let them show me. Everyone is entitled to.
Let them show. Listen. Let them show me is it Lagos-Ibadan route that had been nearly completed? I mean, up to about 45% completed.
But it's been going on for years.
Listen, 45%. I want to look at it from the day that good Lord Jonathan came to flag it off. I don't want to look at it when Obasanjo and Babalaki and all that. What's his name again? The Babalaki saga on that road. I don't want to look at it. But looking at it from the day that good Lord Jonathan went there to flag that project off, within a short while, he was able to complete at least 40%. But look at these people, 7.5 years. Still counting. The project is still there. It's yet to be completed.
Well, you know how it is that in Nigeria, government...
Should it be so?
It isn't usually a continuum. But a lot of people have given him credit for the fact that he has been able to build on what the past administration started, especially in the area of infrastructure. I know you do not see it that way.
But no, it's not that I'm not seeing it that way. Which project, aside from, I don't even know, that this administration started and finished? Let them show me that project that they started and finished. Let them show me that project.
Let's talk about the
ones they are talking about are the ones that had been started by previous administrations.
But isn't that something to be commended? Because we know that most times when a project is started by an administration and it isn't completed, the next administration abandons it and starts their own, and then that is left uncompleted.
I will put a question to you. As you are, you cannot deny it that your seniors had passed some appareils to you in the past. Okay? Are you now basking on using those appareils alone? Definitely, you just bought this one. The other one that you bought when you receive your salary the other day too, I saw it, I commended it.
This is not about me anyway. So
I'm not using that as an analogy.
Let's focus on Nigeria.
What I'm saying is, when you are basking on the past or on what was passed to you, without you building on your own, then listen, when my father died, he left some things for us. Okay? Will I now be basically pay what my father left for me and the things I will also leave for my children? No. Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, let's look at this government's performance this year in terms of labor. And I'm bringing that from the angle of the relations with workers. From ASU to NMA, that's the medical doctors, to ASUP, the academic staff union of polytechnics, down to even the electricity workers. We had incessant industrial action from all of these unions. So this year, do you think that the Buhari administration has dealt well with various workers across different unions, considering the number of industrial actions we had across, but not just the education or health, but electricity, which is rare, in fact. I can remember they plunged the nation into darkness for, a few days because of that.
Because he has allowed a bragado to be in charge of that ministry. He has allowed someone who believes in his own wisdom without looking at how it affects another person to be in charge of that ministry. And that's why we had all the prolonged industrial actions that we had this year, especially that of ASU. Because if we're not having a bragado as the minister in charge of that ministry, he will have known that a nation starts dying when that nation stops educating its younger ones. Okay? Because the youth are supposed to be the leaders of tomorrow. And when they are not properly tutored, when they are not properly lectured, how do you want them to take over reins of power when that tomorrow comes? Because yesterday, the tomorrow we're talking is now here. So also the tomorrow we are talking, one day will also be here. What legacy are we leaving behind? So on that note, and because the same president, either he likes it or not, whatever happens in this nation, the buck stops on his table. Because he too did not see that. He did not feel the pulse of the people to be able to deliver dividends of democracy in that area, in that aspect. Then, what do you think the people will score him? Somebody like me will give him 0. Because for ASU to be at home, even I was reading, was it yesterday or this morning, that ASU now said that the Speaker of the House of Reps, deceived them to resumption. I mean, you can see that deception is the greatest offense you can have against humanity. Deception.
Let's quickly talk about the economy before we take a break. Now, we know that the recent statistics by the NBS says that 133 million Nigerians are now multidimensionally poor. And President Muhammadu Buhari came into office. In fact, he reiterated it at his October 1st Independence Day speech that they are going to take 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in 10 years. Why do we see a contradiction when we look at the reality on ground?
Vividly, I can remember that day on this same platform when he said he will take 100 million people out of. I said, what is statement? I said, for me, I will not give him kudos. Why? Because he did not show me the ways and manners he was going to take them out of poverty. He did not reel out.
Well, they talked about the school feeding program, the what's that Empower, the trader money, and all of those policies that they initiated.
Schemes.
Those are not frameworks. Those are not frameworks.
Okay.
On what basis? Listen. On what basis are you telling me that you are applying all that to the people? On what basis? Are you telling me that to feed children in school will remove poverty from the society? Because when you feed them in school and you are not paying their parents' salary, what is it that we are doing? Are you still removing poverty from the people?
Isn't the Empower and the other policies?
I'm coming now. I'm coming. When you are feeding those children and there is no job for their parents, we are all aware how many people went out of job this year because of fuel scarcity, escalating prices of fuel products, especially in the commercial banks. We're all aware.
We have to
industries,
we have a commercial break to take. We'll be right back to continue the conversation. And Dr. Dayo Kayode is still right here with us. Don't go away.